Hi everyone, my name is Lisa Marie Basile, and I am a writer and a poet here in the New York City area. I live in Jersey City. This is my room. The sun is so beautiful today, so you might see these dust mites like float across the screen as I do this beauty routine for you. So I'm going to start with Mugu. Mugu is this like delicious full cream facial moisturizer. Basically, I just put it on before I do makeup, sort of like a primer. You'll see that I'm pretty bare bones about like what I use. I just don't have a natural like instinct around makeup or beauty, but I do my best because I do actually love beauty. I love aesthetics. I love creating art and expression, and I like using my body as like a canvas. Always have, and do that in a lot of different kinds of ways. But so that's like step one for me. I just sort of put it on. It's super thick and super creamy, and it's basically just like made from milk protein. I am trying to get myself to a place where I'm using vegan products, and that is the next step for me. I'm vegetarian at this point, so I have been thinking about it. How can we make our life, our homes, our products as harm-free as possible? I don't have all the answers. I make no claims to be an expert. I'm not interested in proselytizing, but I do want to do a little bit better for the environment and for the beautiful creatures on this planet. So let's see, where can I start today? You'll have to forgive me for my nails. I haven't done them. I was traveling for 8 weeks in Thailand, and I just sort of disappeared into the jungles and let myself become wild. So I haven't done that sort of step yet, but we're doing it today together. I am a Venus in Libra, so I'm gonna spray this aloe and rose spray onto this little thingy so that I can put on my foundation. I never use a full face of foundation. I don't think I've ever done that in my life, but I do use a little bit of like foundation or concealer, just like in certain spots on my skin. This is Rare Beauty, the Selena Gomez brand. I love it. I think it's amazing. I think she said that this opener is for people with arthritis because she has lupus, and so it's really easy to open. There's no like clamping, and I really appreciate that. So I just put it in a few places, nothing wild. I just don't like full coverage. I don't like the way it feels on me. I have like this weird sensory thing where things just bother me when they're on me. So I just sort of keep it simple. I try to blend that in nice and smooth. Fun fact, I never used a beauty blender until like 2 years ago. I've always done it with my finger. But I like this. It feels soft, it feels smooth, it's beautiful. I like that you can kind of like hydrate it, and then you can just press it into the skin. So I've always been really into aesthetics and beauty. As a poet, my work definitely edges the romantic, even when it's super dark and obsessive and carnal and intense. There's always a sense of the romantic and the lush. I like gilding, I like beauty, I like the ornate. I like things to feel like a museum. I like my space to feel beautiful. I like my art to feel beautiful. I'm not interested in paring myself down and paring my art down and deconstructing myself and making myself invisible, or my writing. So I like to give it like a little pizzazz. I like a bold red lip. I like sexy big hair. I like lush sentences, and I do like a little bit of self-indulgence and poetry. So it all kind of blends in together for me. Maybe that has to do with my Venus in Libra, maybe my Scorpio sun, where there's just this dark, decadent inclination that comes out in me. And it comes out in my self-expression as well. I do like to take grandiose selfies and do really fabulous photo shoots. I like to take photos of people looking beautiful. I like to dress up for events. I like costumes. I like embracing a concept or an era. I used to be in this like sort of literary cabaret, and we had to sort of build a character and then dress as them and then read our poetry to strangers. And I was a sort of like pinup girl from the Mediterranean. So it gave me a lot of permission to sort of play around with how I present myself. And it you know, in my 20s, there was always an element of like, do I look good? Do I look sexy? As I've aged, now I'm 40, I think less and less about presenting myself, especially for the male gaze. It's about self-decoration. It's about being alive. It's about having fun. 99% of the time, I'm not in makeup. I'm like in sweats and I'm at home and I'm writing. But when the occasion comes up, I do like to go wild and be vampy. So like my foundation, I also use, this is actually not Rare Beauty, this is Violette. Violette FR is this brand that I really like. I think she's an editor for like a beauty company, but she makes her own products. So this is called the Bisou blush, and I like it because you have the blush and then you have this like little puffer on the end of it. So I just put it like in the center. I know everyone kind of like pulls it up these days, but maybe there's like a tiny part of me that's like hearkening back to one of my grandparents, a sort of like English rose type thing. So I just let it blush in the middle of my cheek. I don't use much. I usually have a natural flush going on. Even though I'm Sicilian and I tan, my skin is like basically ghostly transparent. So I can rock a lot of these pink colors. I never use really any sort of bronzer or anything because I'm just so pale. I wish I could. So I guess it's a good time to talk a little bit about my poetry. I have a new book called Saint Dove. It came out this time last year. And like I said, it's really going for it with the language. It's, I think, super lush, but it's really about the things that turn us into monsters, especially the things in girlhood that wake up the darkness within us. And this book kind of explores how far we let that monster go and how long it takes sometimes to reconcile and to forgive and to grow and to also embrace that dark kind of gnarly part within us. So I really did go ham on the beauty and theatrics in this one. Like the language is very decadent, very much like bleeding fruits and like drinking it all down and being subsumed by things and like getting your body to become like an ivy vine. So I like that. I like that. I'm not going to be doing makeup that feels like that today, but I am, you know, I am exploring the ways in which we tell our stories through the way that we look. So I don't know. I am not good at makeup, but sometimes I feel like a deep, bold lip is what you need to like get through that threshold, and that's what I'll eventually get to today. But yeah, I'm not very good at makeup. So when I had my wedding 2 years ago, we got married in Sicily and it was beautiful, but it was 1,000,000 degrees and it was super humid. And my hair was like, I had just sort of put some wave into it with a wand instead of keeping my natural like curly hair, which it's very textured. I never really brush it. It's just sort of like all over the place, but I gave it a wave like I did today. I kind of just made it more manageable. And you know, immediately like 20 minutes into the ceremony, it just became kind of like wild and curly, and I love that about my hair. It's something I really embrace. I remember in high school, all the girls were straightening their hair, and it was the it thing, and I did too. I think I did that into college, and it's just something that kind of homogenizes us, and so I try to allow myself to really embrace how I look and what I look like, and what my hair does. It's just, this is like done, but in a normal day, it's just like wild, and I love that. It looks like I've been running through the moors like Kathy in Wuthering Heights, which I just saw last night and which was beautiful. So yeah, back to the makeup. I did my own makeup and hair at my own wedding. I kind of just like, we were rushing, and we ran our whole wedding ourselves. There was no planner or day of organizer. So I just sort of like did my foundation heavier than I had here, put on a winged eyeliner, extremely hard to do with hooded eyes like mine, put on a deep like berry lip, and went for it. And it was enough, and it was great. And I feel like I didn't need to pay someone. I didn't need to rely on someone else. And I really liked that. I really liked that I made that ritual for myself, that I gave myself the permission to just do my own thing and be my own beautician. No hate for anyone who does it another way. Like, you're probably gonna look amazing. So next up, I wanted to do some mascara today. This is the Rare Beauty, again, mascara. I just love her products. I find them to be like really long lasting, affordable-ish, easy to use. They come in a really great range of like colors and shades for everyone. And the mascara is amazing, and it doesn't stick. So like at night when I'm taking it off, it's not like I have insane amounts of crust all over my eyes. It's just, it comes right off. Speaking of mascara, this is where everyone does the weird mascara face, right? Speaking of mascara, I never really had like extremely specific beauty influences growing up, but I do remember my grandmother Dottie on my mother's side. I remember her saying to me, like, she never answered the door without a red lip and a little bit of mascara. And that really burned into my mind. It's not like she asked me to do it, or she said that anything else was wrong. And she wasn't like hugely into beauty otherwise, but that really burned into my mind. You know, she was like a Southern belle from Virginia, moved to the Northeast, and she kept some of that like beautiful, whimsical charm. And nowadays I love to rock a red lip, and I do leave the house without makeup 99% of the time. Sorry, Grandma, but I appreciate that devotion. Maybe it was a product of the time. Maybe, you know, as feminists today, we would have something to say about that. But she was glamorous in her own way. And then when I got to foster care, I was in foster care for a few years. I remember this one day in the bathroom, pouring through my foster mother's like closet in the bathroom, seeing a giant bag of cosmetics. Like, she, you know, we didn't have a lot of money growing up, but she had all these fancy products. And I remember sneaking in and like using them, then washing them off my face, trying all of her lipstick shades. It was like this weird, voyeuristic, sort of like dark side to girlhood. I was like sneaking around, but also exploring and identifying this aspect of myself, this like currency that we find in beauty, I guess. I don't know if she ever caught me, but something that I did. Now, my dream of all dreams is to put this eyeliner on. But let's be serious. There's no way I'm going to do a winged eyeliner on camera with these hooded eyes of mine. So I'm gonna skip it. Sadly, I'm going to skip it. So I'm going to move on to lipstick, and then I'll do my hair. And I'll let my lips do the Decadence today. So again with the Violette, she makes these really beautiful balms called Bisou balms, and they kind of like go on like chalky, and they blend into the edges of your lips. So she kind of describes it as like a movie star who's just been kissed, and I really like that. So I'm gonna start with, I have a billion different shades. I'm going to wear Susette. It's like a deep berry red. I recently learned that I'm a winter in the seasonal color chart. Who knows what that's all about, but I'm supposed to be a winter. I'm like a olive overtone, cool undertone. So I'm supposed to be wearing like high contrast pinks and certain kinds of cool colors. I love a big bold lip. So you can really like overline your lips with this because it just has a formula that sits really nicely. Sometimes like if I have excess right there, I just like rub it onto my cheeks because why not? I am not here for perfection. In fact, I am here to say fuck it and play with it and play with your beauty and have fun and embrace yourself in whatever way feels good for you. You don't have to perform any sort of identity. You don't have to give in to messages around aging and anti-aging and how to be beautiful. You can just have fun and just be alive, and it doesn't have to be degrading to embrace beauty, despite the fact that we live in a world where we're told that if you do anything to make yourself beautiful, you're superficial. But we're also told that if you don't, you're ugly and you're a monster and you're aging, and that's like the horror of all horrors. But I'm here to say that at 40, it is not the horror of all horrors. It's totally beautiful to be alive and to be existing in this reality and to get a chance at life, because so many people don't. So I think my hair is my favorite feature. I like to think of my hair as like its own wild little creature that I tend to, and I let it kind of dictate what it looks like on any given day. Today it wants to be big and frizzy. I also like to take some inspiration from the Italian and Mediterranean beauty queens like Monica Bellucci, who, you know, wears a big glamorous wave a lot of the time. So today I'm just sort of brushing it out to make it nice and soft. Right now I've got some really wicked grays coming in, so they're forming like a light streak down here. But this is my natural color. It's actually a little bit darker than this, but I've been fighting with the grays, and they're changing my color. They're kind of like turning it a little browner than normal. So this is me. I think I'm going to get dressed after this, and I've got to go out and meet someone. I'm going to use my little purse here. It was made for me because my father-in-law is called Marcos Falci, and he is from the Carlos Falci handbag company. Carlos Falci was a Brazilian designer, and he made these incredible bags that everyone wore, like Madonna and other celebrities that I can't remember now, Jennifer Aniston. And so this one was made for me with a fabric that I picked out. I'm really lucky to have it. So I'm gonna pop a couple things in there and go out and meet my friends. And I hope you enjoyed watching me get ready in my very haphazard sort of way. I'm gonna add one last thing, a little Chloe, my favorite perfume. Sometimes I mix it with this Acqua di Siracusa. It's like this really warm, sexy spray that's like great as an undertone. And voila. So thank you all for listening. I hope you'll check out my book, Saint of, and have a beautiful, beautiful day.